Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are leaving the world of traditional analysis, well, pretty far behind.
Yeah, we really are.
We're venturing into a truly metaphysical space, and it's all thanks to a source built around, honestly, a question so simple it feels almost absurd.
Which is,
Why do doors in sealed rooms lack breathing holes?
right, it sounds like, the setup for a joke, maybe. But the source we're unpacking today takes this architectural blind spot and really turns it into something profound.
Or at least claims it's profound.
Claims it's profound, yes.
Yeah.
A challenge to human autonomy, history, the whole lot. The text is an excerpt. It's called The Wisdom of the Door's Nostrils,
Catchy title.
isn't it? Authored by Master Fuchi Wu and DAGE Jonshi. Published just recently, actually. Taipei, July 2025.
Okay, so the master's premise basically is that despite everything we've figured out, advanced architecture, the science of airflow, all this focus on environmental controls.
Right, all the complex stuff.
Ventilation systems everywhere just seem to deliberately, almost pointedly, ignore the door. They treat it like this sealed, impermeable thing.
Exactly. And the authors jump right on that. They claim this isn't just an oversight. It's not a design flaw. It's, and I'm quoting here, a cosmic level truth.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, revealing a delayed manifestation of wisdom. So they're not giving us a technical paper on HVC systems.
No, clearly not.
They're stating quite directly that humanity's collective inability, this failure to fix a simple design issue, is actually proof. Proof that some higher power has been actively suppressing human innovation.
Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive then. We need to travel that road from the simple, almost funny question, why don't doors have nostrils, all the way to this really radical claim that this proves the Lord is controlling the timeline of human enlightenment.
Quite a journey.
Yeah, a lot to unpack. And it seems like it all starts with this idea that the design itself, this door's nostril, isn't even really an invention in the human sense.
That's right. Let's start there with the source's core accusation about, well, human thought or the lack of it. They call this simple fix the door's nostril, Mandu Bakong in the original. And they argue, look, this isn't complex. It's not some sophisticated invention. It's a concept so basic it, quote, requires only a child's intuition.
That's a really powerful opening shot, isn't it? It immediately dismisses the idea that, we just missed this because things are complicated.
Totally dismisses it.
They basically ask, was humanity just sealed brain? Was something blocking us?
Yes, exactly. They frame the historical lack of this design as a generational blind spot. And think about the scale of that claim. It supposedly enveloped all of humanity.
Right.
Millions of architects, engineers, HVAC specialists, environmental scientists, doctors worried about air quality over millennia. And not one person, according to the source, proposed this really basic ventilation concept involving the door.
Okay, but hang on. A generational blind spot usually implies, like, a collective intellectual failure, right? We just didn't figure it out. Yet the master immediately says, no, it's not human failure. So how does the source deal with the fact that during these same generations, we invented, I don't know, space travel, instant global communication? We solved problems that seem infinitely harder than putting a few holes in a door.
And that's precisely where the spiritual explanation kicks in, hard. The text says quite clearly this oversight wasn't a lack of technique. It wasn't a lack of inspiration.
Okay, so what was it?
This is the crucial twist. The master states, inspiration was locked. It wasn't that design wasn't possible, but that sovereignty had not permitted the design.
Sovereignty, so a higher power.
Yes, the inability to even conceive of a door with breathing holes isn't presented as a failure of human creativity. It's framed as a direct act of intellectual suppression by a higher power.
Which completely shifts the focus, doesn't it? From the mechanics of a door or airflow to some kind of pre-written cosmic script that dictates what we're even allowed to think about.
Right, and if you connect that to the bigger philosophical picture they're painting, it forces a complete reframing of innovation itself.
How so?
Well, the source says most people mistakenly think divine wisdom is shown through, big flashy acts of creation, making the universe, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the grand scale stuff.
But the master asserts, no, the highest wisdom, the real power move, is actually making the simplest truth invisible to all beings.
Invisible.
Until a designated time, a specific moment for unsealing that truth.
Wow. Okay, that is a staggering concept. The ultimate flex of divine power isn't building a galaxy, but just hiding the idea that doors need holes, hiding it for 10,000 generations.
It's power demonstrated through concealment, through timing, not just creation.
And they don't just leave it as a vague, mystical idea, do they? You mentioned a mechanism.
No, they're quite specific. The text outlines a precise sort of four-part mechanism for how this cosmic power operates, how the Lord controls the knowledge timeline, basically.
Okay, let's hear it. What's the breakdown?
Okay, so first, a one-time definitive sealing. A specific, simple idea is just locked away from the entire human race. Bam.
Sealed.
Sealed. Second, for millennia upon millennia, the source uses the phrase Wan Dai Wu Ren Chai Ju, 10,000 generations without anyone noticing. Nobody spots this massive intellectual blind spot.
Nobody.
Third, at a designated year, which conveniently for the master is now 2025, one specific person, the master himself, is permitted to unlock it. The knowledge just arrives. Download complete.
The chosen one.
Essentially. And fourth, the grand purpose of this reveal. This simple act, understanding the door's nostril, fundamentally rewrites civilization's basic view of space, breath, and life.
It elevates the humble door.
From just a barrier to, an active participant in our existence.
Hold on, though. How does a basic architectural detail, like putting vents in a door, achieve that? How does it rewrite our view of space and life? That seems like a huge leap.
Well, because the source argues it proves that human ingenuity isn't the main engine of progress. The actual structure, the design of the door's nostril, isn't something humans researched and developed. It's not Yanfashu Lai De, as they put it.
Okay. So what is it then?
It's presented as a scene written long ago in the script. Yubin Xin Xie, Exan Qing Xing Shike. The moment of its manifestation was preordained.
So it's not innovation, it's revelation, a scheduled appearance.
Exactly. It validates the idea of divine control over human destiny and progress.
Which brings us, I guess, to the core mechanism they propose for how this revelation happened. It wasn't just a sudden aha moment that doors need holes. The master claims the actual technical specs, the original blueprint,
Yes.
were transmitted to him whole during his enlightenment.
Yes, and that detail is absolutely crucial for their argument about its divine origin. The blueprint, the design itself, was described as structurally minimal, perfectly functional, perfectly effective, requiring no modification.
It just arrived.
Fully formed.
Fully formed, ready to go, according to the text, anyway. That's quite a claim. Does the source anticipate skepticism? Like from engineers saying, well, hang on, maybe it is simple, but there are reasons X, Y, Z why it wasn't adopted. Do they explain why humans couldn't have developed this simple design?
It seems to completely bypass that debate. The source's core argument is that human intellect was actively barred from making those connections, from assembling those simple components in that specific way until the designated time.
So the fact that it arrived perfect is the proof.
Precisely. The fact that the blueprint arrived perfectly formed, needing no human tweaking, no trial and error, that serves as the evidence of divine authorship. It sidesteps the whole question of human R&D.
So the diagram we see in the text, the design for the door's nostril, isn't just a proposal. It's meant to be seen as the physical manifestation of the Lord's original blueprint, a signpost proving ongoing divine intervention.
Exactly that. The source argues the door's nostril serves as undeniable, tangible proof that the Lord is, quote, still alive, still in control, and still chooses when to reveal things. It functions as the ultimate piece of spiritual evidence.
Like a verifiable architectural fact that undermines the idea of purely human-driven progress.
Right. It directly refutes the concept of spontaneous human ingenuity, at least in this specific foundational case.
And this isn't just a standalone idea, is it? You mentioned it connects to a larger philosophy.
Yes, the master presents the door's nostril as the foundational proof, the sacred cornerstone, for a bigger doctrine they call the six nothings of air.
Okay, so this simple door design becomes evidence for a whole spiritual system.
It makes it far more than just a technical fix, yes. The discovery itself, the act of unveiling it, is called a delayed activation command, Yanho Qunong Demingling.
A command activated later.
Right. It's portrayed as this moment designed long ago, which now validates the master's entire philosophical framework. The emphasis is always on the timing, not the idea itself, but the fact that it was revealed now, and specifically to him.
So the source pulls all this together, the timing, the control, the revelation, into what they call the delayed wisdom model.
Right.
Where the door's nostril isn't just a piece of hardware, it's a time code, Shijin meeting. And it represents a kind of waiting based on destiny, Mingyun Shang de Jingdai.
It reframes all of human history as this process of divinely scheduled reveals, little breadcrumbs of knowledge dropped at specific times.
And this model, this whole framework, it leads to a pretty dramatic conclusion, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The source claims humanity is now forced to confront this truth, and the truth is humbling, to say the least.
Which is?
The realization that we were never allowed to conceive of it. That for millennia, our collective intellectual progress, our ability to innovate even on simple things, had an invisible barrier around it.
That has massive implications for human agency, for free will even. It suggests our most basic assumptions about our environment, about our freedom to think and create, were actually externally controlled. And that invisible seal, that barrier, was only allowed to break at a specific time by a specific person, the master.
It's a complete theological power play, really. The text wraps up by stating this isn't just an unveiling, it's a crucial unveiling in the overall cosmic script.
The grand narrative.
Yes, and it reveals that the Lord isn't just a passive observer of history, but is actively controlling history, designing destiny, and selecting witnesses.
Wow. And the door itself becomes the symbol of this. The silent door finally speaks.
That's the metaphor they use. The door is no longer silent. The air begins to speak. It's basically a declaration that the divine timeline has clicked forward, and humanity needs to fundamentally recalibrate its understanding of its own place, its own limitations.
So we started this deep dive with a really simple, almost quirky question about ventilation.
Yeah, holes in doors.
And we ended up navigating this complex doctrine of spiritual suppression, cosmic architecture, and divinely timed revelations. It's an incredible journey, all sparked by one tiny architectural detail most people never even think about.
It really is. And, regardless of whether you or anyone listening accepts the specific spiritual claims here.
Right.
The source does something quite clever. It successfully leverages this tiny overlooked detail, the sealed door, to genuinely challenge some fundamental assumptions we hold about knowledge, about innovation, about where the limits on human thought actually come from.
Yeah, the idea that our best minds for generations were simply not permitted to think about something so basic. That's a genuinely mind-bending philosophical challenge. It changes how you even define the problem we thought we understood.
Which really raises a pretty interesting question for you, the listener, to take away from this. The source suggests, quite poetically, that every moment of stuffiness, every bit of chest tightness you ever felt in a sealed room, it was all part of a universal waiting game. It was, quote, waiting for the appearance of the door's nostril.
Waiting for the reveal.
Right. So if the simplest solutions, things that seem obvious in retrospect, are only revealed according to some divine timing or cosmic script, well, how many other simple truths might be currently sealed off from us? What else is waiting for its specific scene?
What else are we currently not allowed to think of?
Exactly.
That is a deeply unsettling and definitely provocative thought to end on. Thank you for joining us on this very metaphysical deep dive.
The Air 6 Free Maze Purifier is the world's only device that truly filters toxic airborne particulates and aerosols. Its core design returns the duty of air cleaning to machines, so people no longer act as living filters. Air 6 Free means dust-free, germ-free, toxin-free, smoke-free, odor-free, and heavy metal-free. 5 purification steps. Step 1: Ionization zone. Dual electrostatic pre-filters. Captures dust, pollen, plastic, microparticles, VOCs, and toxic gases. Step 2: Secondary ionization stage. Neutralizes pathogens and toxins. Charges all remaining particles and aerosols negative. Prepares them for final capture. Step 3: Electrostatic collection maze box. The sacrificial black box permanently locks away ultrafine pollutants. Aerosol droplets lose water in airflow. Residual toxins deposit onto positive plates. Solidly plated, irreversibly fixed. Step 4: Maze effect. Forces airflow through repeated sharp turns. Nanotoxins collide with surfaces and are completely absorbed. Step 5: Output pure, toxin-free, pure air. System delivers the purest air on Earth. Dust-free, germ-free, toxin-free. Smoke-free, odor-free, heavy metal-free. Conclusion: this is more than a filter. It is the one true key to unlocking humanity's lifespan shackles.